Hey everyone, let's talk religion today. Religion was one of the biggest reasons that I resisted ever getting to know God for many, many years. So this is a pretty important topic for so many people. I was thinking back to even when I was in high school and I went to what they called downtown Saturday night, and that's when all the vendors would stay open and you just get to walk around, and we did our teenage stuff. But I do recall the evangelists on the street that were trying to connect with people and, introduce them to God, and many of them were very outspoken. I remember one of my friends stopped and began to argue with one of them. And I remember this woman said, "I'm not religious." And that became an argument as well, but that hit me. She said, "I'm not religious, I just believe in God." So years later, I'm realizing how much of an imprint she had on me. So let's explore this. Okay, so I'm going to start with John 14:6. Jesus said to Thomas, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." Now, after studying all of the main religions and really navigating from being an atheist to knowing God, I have come to believe that this one statement carries so much information. So notice that Jesus didn't respond by saying the ways. Jesus said the way. And why is this so important? Well, one accurate truth overrides 1,000 mistruths. And I've come to see that the ways of the world account for the plethora of different religions that we see. And once I experienced a miracle in my own life that couldn't be explained away by science, my goal became to locate the truth. I did not care what that truth was, as long as it was the truth, the actual truth in reality. Not what I wanted to be true, because that was a totally different, I could make up anything. And many of us do. But here's the thing. God did not call us into religion. God calls us into relationship. And a part of that is into truth, which means out of deception, out of corruption, and out of harm. And this leads to life. Another thing to know is in the Bible, it specifically talks about the one true God. Just some examples that I noted. So 2 Chronicles 15:3, for a long time Israel was without the true God. Jeremiah 10:10, but the Lord is the true God. He is the living God. 1 Thessalonians 1:9, how you turned to God from idols to serve the living and true God. John 17:3, that they know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom you have sent. 1 John 5:20, he is the true God and eternal life. So all of these references are to not the extrapolations of God, but let's meet God in reality, not the variety of religions, but just God, meet God. So not many, just one. So in that way, God is the way. God is providing the way, which is of the truth, and this leads to life. The other thing that's really worth considering is in the letter of James 5:27. Paul is talking about religion. Paul says, "Religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father is this, to visit orphans and widows in their affliction and to keep oneself unstained from the world." Not what I expected, right? It's God's wanting us, again, to be in relationship so that we can be deliverers of the virtues that God has called us and gifted us with. So today's message is really about, if your religion brings you to God, in relationship with God, then great. If your religion has become your God, that is not the way. If your religion teaches of other gods, then you have yet to meet your Maker. If you despise religion and therefore discount God, you're missing the point. And if you have created God in your image according to your desire of what you want God to be, then you have not yet met God. And this, my friends, is why I'm not religious. Or perhaps I could say God's truth, God's way, God's life, God's love, that is my religion. And I've come to know that the greatest journey that we can take in our lifetime is to find truth amidst thousands of non-truths. And the second greatest journey is to relinquish the idea that truth and reality are contingent upon our own beliefs and perceptions. No matter what I believe, truth will always be truth. I can believe something real, I can believe in something false. It doesn't make it true. But our beliefs will impact our experience. And the other beautiful thing is that God's truth is filled with what the Bible calls the fruits of the Spirit. These are virtues. I collected a list of these virtues at one point. I use them with coaching clients and also at the coaching school. There's over 75 virtues. I mean, talk about, the Bible talks about richness of the heart. Talk about richness. If you're tapping into and activating all of these virtues, that's a whole different level of experiencing life. One that's fulfilling, one that's full of surprise and delight and joy. Okay, I'm going to share with you some of these virtues, not all 75, don't worry. But as you're listening to this, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and just tune in as you hear them, what gets activated in you. Some of God's virtues include acceptance, appreciation, authenticity, compassion, confidence, courage, devotion, dignity, encouragement, enthusiasm, equanimity, faith, forgiveness, generosity, gentleness, gratitude, honesty, humility, humor, integrity, joyfulness, justice, kindness, love, loyalty, patience, perseverance, purpose, reason, reliability, respect, responsibility, reverence, service, sincerity, surrender, thoughtfulness, transcendence, trust, understanding, unity, vision, wholeness, willingness, and wisdom. That is not a small list, and that is what gets cultivated when we develop a relationship with God. So I want to leave you with a couple of verses to consider as you deepen your walk with God. And this is found in 1 Corinthians 13, if you'd like to read the whole segment. But 13:13 says, "So now faith, hope, and love abide, these three, but the greatest of these is love." And my favorite verse is 1 Corinthians 16:14. "Let all that you do be done in love." All that you do, be done in love. If today's message woke something up inside of you, I'd love to hear it. Leave it in the comments, and I wish you a blessed week.